Assalamu alaikum, dear students. This is Dr. Muhammad Altaf. I'm going to deliver my next online lecture. The topic of today's lecture is cryptography definitions and concepts. In this lecture, first we will discuss introduction of cryptography. After that, encryption and decryption will be discussed. After covering encryption and decryption, we will discuss different terminologies which are being used in field of cryptography. After completing the terminologies, we will discuss different services provided by the crypto systems. When data is stored on a computer, it is usually protected by logical and physical access controls. When the same sensitive information is sent over a network, it can no longer take these controls for granted. And the information is in a much vulnerable state. So we need to protect that information. Cryptography is a method for protecting information and communication through the use of codes so that only those for whom the information is intended can read and process it. Dear students, cryptography comes from the Greek two words, crypto and graphein, where cryptos mean hidden and graphein mean to write. Is the process of making and using codes to secure the transmission of information. The field of cryptography is complex. It can fill many volumes. But these lectures which are regarding to the cryptography will provide only a general overview of cryptography and some specific information about cryptographic tools. In today's lecture, we will learn the background of cryptography as well as key concepts in cryptography and common cryptographic tools. In our next lectures, we will learn about common cryptographic algorithms. In this slide, we will explore the terms encryption and decryption. Dear students, encryption is a method of transforming readable data, which is called plain text, into a form that appears to be random and unreadable, which is called ciphertext. This enables the transmission of confidential information over insecure channels without unauthorized disclosure. While decryption is the process of converting the ciphertext message back into plain text using some decryption algorithm so that it can be readily understood. As you can see in the diagram, plain text is being converted to ciphertext by applying some encryption algorithms. Then we apply some decryption algorithms on the ciphertext to get the actual plain text. Dear students, nowadays many common IT tools use embedded encryption technologies to protect sensitive information within applications. For example, all the popular web browsers use built-in encryption features to enable secure e-commerce such as online banking and web shopping. Dear students, in this slide you can see the advantages of encrypted communication. First of all, it comes in our mind that why we need to encrypt the information. So here I will say that if a sender wants to send some data to some other persons on over a network, he or she must protect its data to reach to the destination. if the data is encrypted and is being captured by some third party called intruder, so the captured data will be useless for that intruder because he or she does not know how to decode the encrypted data. Without the right key, the captured data is useless for attacker. When the data will be received by the receiver, he or she will be known that which algorithm is being applied or which key will be used to decrypt the encoded data. After applying the decryption algorithm, the receiver will get the actual text, which is called plain text. Dear students, to understand the fundamentals of cryptography, we must know the meanings of the following terms which will be discussed in this slide. The first term which is being used in the cryptography is called cryptanalysis. Cryptanalysis is the process of obtaining the original message called plain text from an encrypted message, which we discussed as a ciphertext, without knowing the algorithm and keys used to perform the encryption. Algorithm. It is the set of rules, also known as cipher, dictates how enciphering and deciphering take place. The programmatic steps used to convert an unencrypted message into an encrypted sequence of bits that represents the message is called algorithm, and sometimes it refers to the programs that enable the cryptographic processes. The next term which will be discussed is crypto system. A system that provides encryption and decryption is known as crypto system and can be created through hardware components or program code in an application. The crypto system uses an encryption algorithm. Most algorithms are complex mathematical formulas that are applied in a specific sequence to the plain text. Dear students, the term plain text is already discussed. It is the original unencrypted message or a message that has been successfully decrypted. Ciphertext or crypto program is a encoded message resulting from an encryption code. The process of converting components like words or phrases of an unencrypted message into encrypted components is called ciphertext or crypto program. The next term is decipher. Decipher means to decrypt or decode or convert ciphertext into the equivalent plain text. This is called decipher, and the process is known as deciphering. And enciphering, as it names it, as it is clear from its name that it is the process. Yeah, it is the if we will discuss the enciphering, so it is the process to encrypt, encode or convert the plain text into the equivalent ciphertext. This is called, the text will be known as encipher and the process is known as enciphering. Key or crypto variable is a value that comprises a large sequence of random bits, or in other words, the information used in conjunction with an algorithm to create the ciphertext from the plain text or derive the plain text from the ciphertext. Dear students, the key can be a series of bits used by a computer program, or it can be a passphrase used by humans that is then converted into a series of bits used by a computer program. Usually, the internal mechanisms of the algorithm are not a secret. It the internal mechanism is known to all. There is no secret in the internal mechanism. So the internal mechanism of the algorithm is clear as it is visible to the sender, and it is also visible and clear to the intruder. So the secret piece of using a well-known encryption algorithm is the key. Dear students, here I would refer the Kirchhoff statement about key. He stated that the only secrecy involved with the cryptography system would be the key. He claimed that the algorithm should be publicly known. He asserted that the security were based if the security were based on too many secrets, there would be more vulnerabilities to possibly exploit. So key plays a very important role during encryption and decryption. Now we will discuss another term, and that is key space. Key space. The entire range of values that can be used to construct an individual key is called key space. The larger the key space, the more available values can be used to represent different keys. And the more random the keys are used, it would be harder for the intruder to find out the exact key, or it would be harder to figure out them for an intruder. When the algorithm needs to generate a new key, it uses